Hey, this story is just one part of the Stories with Sapphire podcast. If you want to hear the full episode in its intended context, the link is in the description below. It's story time. Chapter 3. Angelo. Submitted by Mina. My name is Mina, and I'm from the Philippines. So it was 2006 when we first moved into my mother's childhood home. My mom and dad decided to move back to the province after they resigned from their work. I knew from a very young age that I could see and sense things that no one else could. So by the time we moved into the house, I immediately sensed something off. From time to time, I would also see a shadowy figure going up and down the stairs. I never felt fear when the shadow was nearby, though. It strangely felt familiar, comfortable. Since I was a little kid at that time, I had a fear of the dark. My room was upstairs, and our bathroom was downstairs. Every night before going to bed, I always made sure to pee so that I would not have to wake up in the middle of the night and walk downstairs by myself in the dark. I remember one night I was awoken by my mom yelling and angrily calling my name. "Go downstairs and go to the bathroom by yourself," she yelled. I was confused. "Why are you yelling? I'm sleeping," I called back. A few moments of silence passed before my mom cried back, "Go back to sleep." This happened a couple times. Then my mom would get mad at me for running around the house because I might break something. "I'm not, Mom," I would insist. "I can see and hear you running around all the time. Just knock it off, okay?" This was starting to get really frustrating. I was continuously being blamed for things I wasn't doing. Then, the Typhoon Ondoy came. The power was out, and we only had candles lit in the living room. And then I saw this shadow, swaying back and forth. It was hovering over our sofa, and it seemed restless. That night, when we all went to sleep in the bedroom, my mom and I heard the exact same voice say, "Mom, where are you? I'm cold." We looked at each other in the faint light. Even though the sound came from outside our bedroom, we both definitely heard it. That was when my mom knew that what she was seeing running around the house was not me. As I grew older, I realized that the spirit's intention wasn't to bother us. They just wanted their mother. But for whatever reason, they were looking for her in our home. I had a friend who had the same abilities as me, and they told me that there's no harm in telling the spirit that they are not welcome in our home anymore, and they needed to move on or leave. So I did just that. I decided to tell them to move on, that their mom loves them and they needed to go somewhere happy. And it worked. I wasn't able to see them anymore, and they stopped bothering us. Then, in 2018, my tita, who's been an overseas Filipino worker for several years, decided to go home and retire. Now, our family has a fair share of paranormal experiences, given the fact that my lolas do have anting-anting and abilities such as healing and a bit of witchcraft. So we were sharing ghost stories with each other. My tita was telling me a story about my lola and a tik-tik when they were younger. Then I told her about the spirit that lived in our house and how my mom always confused them for me because they were also a small child, always looking for their mother, but that it was no longer an issue because I helped them move on. She was silent the whole time I was talking. I noticed that she was crying. I asked her what was wrong. She told me that long ago, before I was even born, She had a miscarriage. She was 6 months going on 7 when it happened. The baby was a boy. She named him Angelo. He was put in a jar and filled with alcohol. Angelo was never blessed by a priest, and they were unable to bury the baby in the cemetery. So she buried him inside our house, right under the sofa that we had in our living room. She was upset because she wished she could have seen or heard Angelo one last time before I asked him to move on. I didn't know what to say. I felt guilty that I sent Angelo away. I had no idea that who he had been looking for was my tita. But she understood. She knows there was no way I could have known. She was just grateful to know that he was okay. Before she left our home, she muttered, "Angelo, son, wherever you are, Mom loves you dearly."
Thank you for joining me today. If you like what you heard and would like to support this independently run show, consider becoming a member of my Patreon. Visit patreon.com/storieswithsapphire to see the different tiers and perks. If you'd like to submit a story, email me at storieswithsapphire@gmail.com. Salamat and good night.